Okay, I got a tier list for all the Fallout New Vegas perks, and I'm arrogant, so I had to go and make my own on Photoshop. And let me break it down for you. It's basically just like every other one you've ever seen, except I have a goated tier list and a dog shit tier list. So that's basically it. It's the only difference. And I'm going to be going on here on the New Vegas wiki, and I'm going to be picking all the different perks, going through them one by one, and ranking them from dog shit to goated. Let's go. Okay, the first perk we got here is Black Widow. You have to be a female character to get this perk and level 2. You know, the gender perks aren't really that bad, in my opinion. It's just 10% damage, right? Black Widow is especially good because most of the enemies in the game are male. So 10% damage against male opponents, and you get some sexual dialogue. You know, you can't really be mad at it. There's nothing too wrong. It's a flat damage boost with a little bit of RP. If I had to put it anywhere, I would say it is an A perk. You definitely can't go wrong with it. It's a flat 10% damage boost, and that's really all there is to say. Okay, next up, Lady Killer. Basically the same thing, but exactly opposite. You can only get it if you're a male character. Level 2, 10% damage against all female opponents, and also more sexual dialogue. Here's the thing with Lady Killer. You run into less females, so I cannot put it in the same category as Black Widow. I'm actually going to drop it to B, singularly because there's just less females in the game. You're not rolling up the female leg Atlanteus, Ulysses, any bad guys. It's literally only B because it only affects females, and there's less in the game. The next up, we got Sherezla Flame. Again, another gender perk, level 2. You have to be a female character. You get 10% damage against the same sex, female opponents. So you get homosexual dialogue, and it's literally just worse. I don't know what to say. So it's basically the exact same perk as Lady Killer, except it's worse because you have to be female. So that's really all there is to it. It's literally the exact same perk as Lady Killer, except for a female. So, you already know where it's going. Beats here. Next up, Confirmed Bachelor, another gender perk. It's just like Black Widow in the sense that you get 10% more damage against males and gay dialogue. You know, what's not to love about that, I guess? Yeah, so A tier perk. Gotta throw it in the same category as Black Widow. All right, next perk on the chopping block, Friend of the Night. Level 2 perk, you have to have 30 sneak and 6 perception. Literally, if you get this perk, you are weird as shit. You get low light vision from 8:15 p.m. to 5:45 a.m. There's literally armor in the game that does this exact same thing. So if you get this perk, congratulations, you are dog shit. And just like that, we have our first dog shit perk. Literally no benefits to this. There's armor in the game that does the exact thing. So it's ass. That's all there is to say. Next up, Heave Ho, level 2 perk. You have to have 5 strength and 30 explosives. The only benefit is you get plus 50% throwing velocity. So, I guess if you're an explosive build and you want to throw grenades farther. Okay, correction. I'm a dipshit, thanks to my friend Brandon here. Velocity is not how far it goes. Velocity is how fast it goes. Even fucking worse, okay? Unless you have a spear build, I guess. I don't know. Or you're throwing grenades and you want to throw them quicker. This is a literal dog shit perk. Now that I'm thinking, nah, I can't do dog shit. We're going to do D. Next up, we have Hunter, level 2. You have to have 30 survival. You get 75% more critical damage against animals and mutated animals. This is a banger perk. Absolute banger. It's definitely above Confirmed Bachelor and Black Widow. It is a good ass perk. I can't quite say it's goated because that's for singularity perks that, rise above the rest, but it is definitely one of the better perks in the game. S tier. Intense Training, level 2. That's the only requirement for it. You get to put a single point onto any one of your special attributes. I guess it's not terrible if you want to min-max certain traits, but with armor and with implants, you can already increase most skills by 1 or 2 anyway. So, in my opinion, it can't really be anything higher than B tier. But it really is. I never pick it because in my opinion, it is just a waste of a perk slot. There is just so many better options you can go with, especially with implants to make up for it. It doesn't really stand out to me. So I'm going to have to put it in C. Next up, rapid reload, level 2, 30 guns, 5 agility. This is a criminally underrated perk, I would say. A lot of people just look at it at face value, 25% faster reload speed. But you really, when you consider DPS in this game, you're shooting bullets 25% faster with high agility and the right like cowboy build, like Ranger Sequoia. This is a criminally underrated perk. Placing this to me is going to be rather difficult. It's definitely, if I put it A tier, it's definitely, and by the way, none of these are necessarily over the other one. It's just kind of how I have it laid out. I think I got to put it A tier. It increases your DPS. You reload quicker with the right build. It's nuts. I don't necessarily think it's insane enough to go into S tier. Definitely not goated. But it is a underrated perk, and a lot of builds can benefit from using it for sure. Next up, we got retention. Here's what I'll say, okay? I have done so many challenge runs in New Vegas, but now, like, I know almost every perk in this game, like the back of my hand, okay? This perk requires you to be level 2 with 5 intelligence, and it gives you longer duration for skill magazines. So this perk, quite literally, is superior dog shit, because time pauses when you're in a dialogue menu anyway. Such a shitter perk. Congratulations, retention. You are a dog shit perk. Literally a waste of a perk slot. If you get this, fuck you. Swift learner, level 2, 4 intelligence. I have a personal vendetta against this perk. You get 10% extra experience. It is a waste of a perk slot. Literally a waste. It's ass. Like, okay, so if you get skilled, this literally negates the skilled, because with the skill trait, you suffer 10% experience loss. And this can make up for it. And that's the only argument you can really make for ever using this. But congratulations, we have another dog shit perk. Actually, you know what? I can't even say that. Is it on the same level as skill magazines lasting longer? Of course not, right? It is a dog shit perk. Don't get me wrong. Complete waste. But I can't put it on the same level as retention and friend of the night. So we're going to throw it in D. But just remember, D does stand for dog shit. Next up, we have the Cannibal perk, level 4. Basically, you just gain a little bit of health, and I do mean a little bit of health, when you eat a dead body. It does benefit you and your character in a little bit of a way, I guess. But, like, you know, by the same token, you can just have a high survival stat or a stim pack or eat a fucking rad roach. So it really don't affect the game in any sort of crazy way. It does make for some cool sort of builds or play styles if you want to be a cannibal and be like the White Gloves, whatever. You cannot put this perk any higher than C, in my opinion. The only reason it's not D is because it does provide a little bit of health. That's basically it. It's not really a beneficial perk. I usually never get it unless I'm specifically making a like role player build where I'm a cannibal. And the benefit you get from it is hardly any health. It's like a 5-second animation. It's just not really worth it. Comprehension, okay? Level 4 requires 4 intelligence. You gain 1 additional skill point for reading books and double the skill points for reading magazines. Now, before you assume that I'm going to throw this in the shitter where it belongs, this is actually significantly more valuable than retention is, obviously. And the reason I say this is because with certain builds, let's say you want to run low intelligence, literally all you need is 4 int, and you want to like allocate better skill points instead of intelligence. This can make up for it so much because you're literally getting 20 skill points for a mag. So you could have, for example, I don't know, 25 lockpick and read a lockpick magazine, and it'd be 45. So that is definitely an increased benefit above retention. Definitely this is an underrated perk, and it works into very niche builds, but when you do use it correctly, it's so helpful because you can allocate different special stats. On top of that, you do get a permanent additional skill point for reading, you know, Capital Wasteland or Survival Guide, DC Journal of Medicine, that type of thing. So it is pretty beneficial for those that like to loot a lot and allocate their skill points differently. I think I'm going to throw it in B. I think that's a pretty solid perk. We got Educated, level 4, requires 4 intelligence. You get +2 skill points at each level up. So instead of 15, you're getting 17, assuming you have at least 4 intelligence. And, you know, by the end, like think about it, 2 skill points for 50 level, or well, no, you get it at level 4. So 2 skill points for 46 levels is what, 92 92 extra skill points. So that's almost an entire level 100 right there. So it is very underrated. My only concern with it is that it doesn't affect health. It doesn't affect damage. So it can't be too high up, but it is definitely an underrated perk. Yeah, I mean, it's basically a free level 100 skill when you get it. So, you know, you really can look at it multiple ways. I don't think it's insane. I honestly almost want to put it in A. I think that's a pretty decent spot for it. Like I said, you're going to get one skill to level 100 by level 50 anyway, so it's a pretty good perk. Doesn't affect health, doesn't affect damage, doesn't affect crit, nothing like that, but nonetheless, it is still a good perk. Next up, we got Etymologist. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Level 4 requires 4 intelligence and 45 survival. So with this perk, you actually get 50% extra damage when attacking a mutated insect. So anything like a Zion Mantis, a Rad Roach, you know, things of that nature. This is very niche, I think. I don't think I've ever had any issue fighting any bugs with the exception of Cazadors. So if Cazadors are just like your number one op, then like this perk is going to be your godsend, of course. And it does affect damage, so I definitely got to put it pretty high. I think, again, I'm going to put it in the A tier. It is the Wasteland. There's a ton of mutated insects like Cazadors and shit like that. So, you know, with the right perks, like you stack this with Hunter, it's pretty good. A tier perk for sure. Next up, Radchild. All hail Radchild. Level 4, 70 survival. You get bonus healing while being irradiated, and it progresses with stages. So when your character's radiation goes from yellow to red to blinking red, those are like the different stages of radiation if you don't already know. And when you have blinking red radiation, which I believe is like 700 or 800 plus, you literally like half your health bar in a second. It's insane. Like this perk is such a hard carry perk, such a goated perk. Literally, I get Radchild in every playthrough regardless of what I'm doing because it's just so beneficial. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have our first goated hard carry perk here. Always, always, always get Radchild. I don't give a fuck what build you're doing. This perk is criminally underrated. Next up, Running Gun. Level 4, you need 45 guns or 45 energy weapons. And it halves the spread with one-handed ranged weapons while moving. Only while moving. I mean, it is, I guess, a decent perk because accuracy is notoriously shit in New Vegas. But, like, who really gives a shit, right? I mean, you have V.A.T.S. In my perfect opinion, of course, accuracy in New Vegas is shit, so I do understand, like, the need for wanting this. Especially if you have, like, a perk like Fast Shot. This pairs really well with Fast Shot because Fast Shot drops your accuracy. So if you get Running Gun, it'll kind of negate that. So definitely I can see it being pretty useful. But it's nothing really insane. So I would say it's about mid-tier, B tier. Next up, we have Travel Light. You need to be level 4 and have 45 survival. You run 10% faster when wearing light armor or no armor. So because I am a New Vegas challenge run YouTuber, content creator, and I play this game over and over and over and over again, I definitely appreciate what this perk does because I play the game at a 10% faster rate. However, do you really want to waste a perk slot on something that makes you move 10% faster? You can just increase your agility and just wear light armor in general and you'll move quicker. Yes, 10% additional movement speed is nice, but it doesn't really do anything super beneficial for your character. Nothing game breaking, nothing that really changes a play style. I would have to say this is a C tier perk. Definitely not bad by any means, but it doesn't really affect, like I said, I'm biased towards perks that affect your damage threshold, your health, or your damage itself. C tier perk. Next up, we have Bloody Mess. Level 6. You do literally a plus 5% flat damage with all weapons. And enemies explode on impact. Usually when you kill them, they'll just explode. Regardless of that RP benefit, the extra 5% damage with all weapons is extremely good. I get Bloody Mess almost every single build. Like I said, that 5% extra damage really adds up, especially when you're grabbing things like Confirmed Bachelor and you get your gun skills increased. This 5% is a lot more than you actually think it is. S tier, really, really good perk. It can be useful in quite literally every single build. And that's really all there is to say. Next up, Demolition Expert. You need to be level 6 with 50 explosives. This has 3 different ranks. So you can get this perk 3 different times. with a benefit of 20%, 40%, and 60% additional damage with explosives. This is an absolute insane perk. So of course, not everybody does an explosives build, but when you are using a Fat Man or Holy Frag Grenades, for example, this is insane. Imagine a Fat Man or a Holy Frag Grenade doing 60% more damage. Yeah, mother of God, this perk is so good. S tier. Next up, Ferocious Loyalty. You need 6 Charisma, which is the most useless special stat in the entire game. And you have to be level 6. When your HP drops below 50%, your companions gain much greater resistance to damage. So, hear me out. Let me tell you something. Not only are you wasting 5 special points into Charisma, we don't put points into Charisma if we're playing New Vegas. That's a waste of a special stat. Literally, you can negate this entire perk by reloading a save. If your companion dies, literally press F9 on your keyboard. Reload your save. I mean, if you pick this perk, I'm honestly convinced you're I mean, I don't know what else to say. This perk is so horseshit. I'm just being honest, bro. It's my opinion. This is an ass perk. This is a role player perk. This is for those people that, you know, love Veronica a little bit too much. This perk is literally ass. You can negate the entire perk by just pressing F9 on your fucking keyboard. Ass perk. Dog shit. Listen, gamers. If you're not spamming F5 to autosave at literally every fight before every fight, you are already questionably retarded. But especially if you choose this perk. Especially if you choose this perk, you are just wasting a perk slot. So I'm concerned about your psyche. All right, moving on. Next up on the chopping block, Fortune Finder. You have to be level 6 with 5 luck. Basically, you find more bottle caps in containers. You just find more bottle caps. That is so horseshit. But I'm actually not gonna like execute it. I'm not gonna throw it into the dog shit category. Only because it actually does something, okay?
This is such a dog shit because you gamble.
Never mind the fact that you can just gamble for pretty much any and all monetary needs, or just have a high barter skill and sell pretty much anything. But this perk, honestly, I can't put it dog shit. The only reason I'm going to put it in D is because you do actually get some benefit from using it. If you're a scrounger or a new player, I can see why you'd be interested in this perk, but it just doesn't pay off. You're wasting a perk slot that could be used for damage mitigation or damage increases for something like 10 extra bottle caps or 5 extra bottle caps per container. It's just not worth it. Obviously, it's not on the same horseshit category as retention or ferocious loyalty because it actually does something, but it is, of course, not a great perk. So I'm going to throw it in the D tier. If you know ball, you know ball, okay? If you are a V.A.T.S crits build, especially like me that uses Ranger Sequoia, Maria, etc., a light shining in darkness, and you're a V.A.T.S crits build with high agility, oh my god, this perk is so beneficial. And like I said before, pairing perks and perks that work really well in Coalition, perks like Center Mass, Sniper, that increase particular body parts in V.A.T.S, when you pair those with Gunslinger, it works out to be like you hit basically every V.A.T.S shot. When you have high luck, high agility, this perk is insane. You'll never miss a V.A.T.S shot. Obviously, we can't put this perk too high because all it really does is affect accuracy. But it is nonetheless a great perk that I would say deserves an A tier spot. Very underrated. It works well with multiple other perks in the game. And yeah, A tier. Next up, we have Hand Loader. You need to be level 6 and have a 70 repair skill. So a pretty steep price. You got to invest a lot into your repair skill. You are twice as likely to recover ammunition cases. And it also unlocks custom ammunition recipes. This perk, let me tell you, is probably the most underrated perk in all of New Vegas. Creating your own ammunition that breaks your gun less and does more damage is like so underrated. I'm actually going to put this perk in S tier. I wouldn't say it's goated. It's definitely not on the same level as Radchild, but it is one of the better perks in the entire game. Promise you get Hand Loader and actually use it in your next playthrough. You won't be disappointed. Next up, we have Lead Belly. Level 6, you need 5 endurance or 40 survival. And you literally get 50% less radiation when consuming irradiated food and drink. Let me just tell you something right now. If you pick this perk, I'm convinced you're about like the guy in the picture. If you select this perk for your build, I'm convinced your parents are related, and I'm pretty sure we need to throw this in the dumps. This is one of the worst perks in the game. Absolute dog shit. Next up, Shotgun Surgeon, baby. Level 6, 45 guns. When using shotguns, regardless of ammunition, you ignore an additional 10 points of target damage threshold. Okay, so I'm not beating around the bush. I don't really care. Of course, my opinion is better than everyone else's in this game. Shotgun Surgeon is a goated ass perk. Yes, it is very build specific. I understand that, and I kind of put Demolition Expert down here. But Shotgun Surgeon is so effective at what it does, it has to be in the GOAT category. This is one of the best perks in the entire game, if not the. Like, you know what's on the, like, the first thing that goes through my head when I create a new character? I got to get Shotgun Surgeon now. This and Radchild. It is a singularity. This perk is insane. Next up, the Professional. You have to be level 6 and have a 70 sneak stat. You get an extra 20% damage for critical hits with all pistols, revolvers, and SMGs. This perk is one of the better perks in the game. With the right build, you can make the Professional so ridiculous. It is obviously not on the Shotgun Surgeon level of ridiculous, but nonetheless, like I said, perks that pair well together. It is a crit enhancer. So if you're wearing crit armor, you have high luck. You get other perks that increase your critical damage, like Finesse. It is an insane perk. You're going to be dropping shit like a truck. Imagine hitting with Ranger Sequoia 20% extra damage, critical hits. That's insane, dude. S tier, goated perk. Next up is Toughness. You need to be level 6 and have 5 endurance. One of my favorite perks in the game. This is a ranked perk. You can get it twice. You get a permanent +3 to your damage threshold. So with this maxed out, when you're wearing absolutely no armor, you literally get 6 damage threshold. This perk obviously works better for like lighter armor builds because you're sacrificing a lot of that bigger armor damage threshold. But even if, you know, on runs where I'm using power armor or elite riot gear or enclave armor, I still get toughness just to be that much more tanky. It's just a flat damage mitigation increase. So I got to throw it in S tier. It's a great perk. Next up, we have Vigilant Recycler. You need to be level 6 with a 70 science skill. And it's basically the energy weapon version of Hand Loader, in that it locks different energy weapon ammo recipes, and you recover drained ammunition twice as often for energy weapons. So it is definitely a great perk if you are an energy focused build. So if you're an energy weapons type of guy, pick up Vigilant Recycler. It's definitely a great perk. Next up, we got Commando. You need to be level 8 to get this perk. It is a flat 25% V.A.T.S accuracy increase with two-handed rifles. Again, this is another kind of one of those perks that pairs well with others. This is definitely a great perk, but I got to kind of put it on the same category as the others. It's just an accuracy perk. However, it is beneficial for your character. You are going to be outputting more damage if you hit your targets more accurately. So if you think of it that way, it's pretty good. About on the same level as Gunslinger. Nothing really special. A tier. Cowboy. Level 8. You need 45 guns and 45 melee weapons. You get a flat 25% damage increase when using any revolver, lever action firearm, dynamite, knife, or hatchet. So it is very build specific, but it does its job similar to Shotgun Surgeon so well that I got to put it in the singularity. It is a goated perk. 25% more damage with Medicine Stick. Ranger Sequoia is all I need to hear. Ranger Sequoia hits already like a semi-truck, and when you pair a crit build and Cowboy with it, absolutely insane damage. Goated perk. Living Anatomy. You need to be level 8, and you need to have 70 medicine. What this perk does is it shows the HP and the damage threshold of any characters, creatures, and robots. So you get to see basically a layout of what they're resistant to, how much health they have, that sort of thing. But the beneficial part of it is that you get an extra 5% damage, flat damage increase against non-feral ghouls and humans. So not only are you getting to see what you're shooting at and how resistant they are, you're getting a flat 5% damage increase with all weapons. It is an extremely underrated perk. I get it pretty much every build. It's basically on the same level as Bloody Mess, with the exception of, I don't really care if my enemies explode into a gory paste. Who really cares about that? Living Anatomy actually gives you kind of a visual on who you're shooting and how strong they are and their resistances. So it is definitely a beneficial perk. So we're going to throw it in the S tier where it belongs. Pack Rat, level 8. You need 5 intelligence and 70 barter. Basically what this perk does, items with a weight of 2 or less weigh half as much for you. So if you're one of those hoarders like me or a lot of other people that I know, and you pick up basically everything you see, this is an incredibly useful perk. Personal bias aside, even though it doesn't affect damage or damage threshold, it is still such an incredibly useful perk that I'm going to have to place it pretty high. I'm definitely picking Pack Rat over Running Gun, Lady Killer, those types of perks all day of the week. It's an incredibly useful perk, especially what people don't realize if you're playing on survival, because ammo weighs, so your ammo is literally going to weigh half as much. Everything that weighs less than 2 pounds is going to weigh half as much. You can stack up on more chems or aid or food, ammo, that sort of thing. It's so useful in the right scenario. So I think it has to be A. Quick Draw. You need to be level 8 with 5 agility. Equipping and holstering weapons becomes 50% faster. So, it's kind of one of those perks that's just like, fuck it kind of thing. I'm going to pick it because it goes with my build, and that's about it. It's not necessarily the greatest perk of all time. So, C tier. Rad Resistance. You need to be level 8. You need to have 5 endurance. You get a flat 25% radiation resistance buff. So not only is this one of the most horseshit perks in the entire game, but a F9 on your keyboard, a reload, a RadAway, or a doctor basically negates this entire function. You are never delving in a massive nuclear pool for prolonged periods of time without RadX anyway. And I run Radchild, so it's like I'm never going to choose this perk. It is a dog shit perk. Rad Resistance, you're going in the dumpster where you belong. Absolute shitter perk, buddy. Scrounger, level 8, you need 5 luck. You find more ammunition in containers. Pretty much an ass perk. I mean, I can't say much about it. I gamble for all my ammo anyway. I go to the quartermaster and buy like thousands upon thousands of rounds for whatever I'm looking for. This is just horseshit. I'm never ever going to pick Scrounger. Again, is it beneficial for those people that like to be looters? Yes, I understand it, but it just can't place very high. So because of the exact same reasons, for Fortune Finder, I'm definitely going to put Scrounger in the D tier list, which of course stands for dog shit, but it's not quite dog shit. At least you do get a benefit from it. These dog shit perks down here, like Rad Resistance, Lead Belly, Ferocious Loyalty, are literally useless perks. This at least has some practical use, so I have to put it in D tier. Stonewall, level 8, you need 6 strength and 6 endurance. You get a +5 to damage threshold versus unarmed attacks and melee weapons, and you cannot be knocked down in combat. It's not necessarily the best perk because you're always getting shot at or blown up, but to those people like the Legion or the Legatlantius fight, or like you're fighting the military dogs in Old World Blues that literally knock you over every other bite, this perk is so fucking useful. You get an extra 5% DT. So Stonewall, definitely a great perk. If I'm sitting here looking at Black Widow and perks like that, I think I have to put it in an S. It is a great perk. Not quite Singularity, GOAT, but it is a great perk. Next perk is Strong Back. You need to be level 8. You need to have 5 endurance and 5 strength. And yeah, you pretty much just gain an extra 50 pounds of carry weight. If I'm looking at my list here and I have Pack Rat at A, I'm pretty much always going to pick Pack Rat over Strong Back anyway. It's more beneficial in the long run because it affects multiple things rather than just a flat increase. So I think I'm going to throw it in B. I don't think it's quite on the Pack Rat tier, but it is definitely still a beneficial perk for those of you that like to loot everything. I'm not super biased. I think it's a B tier perk. Super Slam, baby. Level 8, 6 strength, 45 melee weapons. Unarmed and melee weapon attacks have a chance of knocking down your opponent. Literally anything in the entire game, from a mole rat to a alpha deathclaw to a giant robo scorpion, any melee or unarmed weapon you are using has a chance to knock your opponent down. This perk is such a fucking hard carry perk for melee builds. It's unbelievable. This is arguably the best perk in the entire game. Literally, you can walk into Quarry Junction like you own it and smack the shit out of Deathclaws because they're going to go flying 50 feet with this perk. It is a absolute singularity. Hard carry for melee build perks. Literally, probably, and I'm not kidding, probably the best perk in the entire game. It's insane. Next up, we got Terrifying Presence. You need to be level 8 with 70 speech. Enemies flee for 5 seconds after leaving dialogue. Yeah, look, it's a horseshit perk. I mean, that's really all I gotta say. I don't think anyone wants their enemies to flee. I'm pretty sure everyone wants to dome them and then go loot them and move on with their day. So this perk literally makes your people harder to loot. It is just a dog shit perk. I'm sorry. This is a role player perk. It's ass. Like, it's ass. Horseshit. Moving on. Here and now. Level 10. If you pick this perk, all you're doing is leveling up again. And you get it at level 10. And most people pick it at level 10. So what does that mean? You waste a perk slot. You get the XP to go to level 11. But you don't get another perk at level 11 because you only get another perk every 2 levels. So it's literally just a waste of a perk. You just level up once. If you're picking this, we need to go back to Fallout 76. Horseshit perk. Throw that shit in the dumpster. So let's talk about Animal Friend. You need to be level 10. You need to waste 5 charisma points to get it to 6. And you need to have 45 survival. You certain animals, in quotation, certain animals, not all, certain animals stay neutral, meaning they won't attack you. But when you waste another perk point on it, they assist in combat, but not against other animals. So stop and think about this. When you're in the Mojave Wasteland and you encounter an animal, and you're able to convince it to help you in combat, it doesn't even help you fight other animals in the wild. You waste not 1, but 2 perk slots on it. I mean, I almost want to say it's worse than Here and Now. Like, it's so bad. Like, I'm okay. Moving on. Dog shit. Moving on. Finesse. You need to be level 10. This perk gives you a higher crit chance. This perk is a literal guarantee damage increase. You have to pick this perk on every playthrough. I don't give a shit what you're doing. GOAT. All hail Finesse. We're getting it every playthrough. If you disagree with me, you probably pick Rad Resistance and Animal Friend as perks. Math Wrath. You need to have 70 Science and be level 10. And it reduces all AP costs by 10%. I don't necessarily think it is S tier necessarily. But because it pairs so well, it's definitely ranking high in the A tier. Misfortune. This perk, when it does work, and it never works when you want it to. But when they do hit, I mean, it's cool. You know, it's not like the worst perk ever. It's just, I'm never really going to pick it. You know, I'm going to be killing whatever anyway before they do. So most of the time when you get a Misfortune or Mysterious Stranger proc, it's going to be on your average Rad Roach or Mole Rat. So you never really get it when you want to kill a Deathclaw or something actually beneficial. So again, it's not insanely good, but it does work from time to time. I think it's about on the quick draw travel light level, about C tier. Mr. Sandman, level 10. You need 60 sneak. You basically just stab somebody in their sleep. This is an RP perk. There's no other way to put it. This perk, I'm not gonna throw it in the dog shit. It does have a few select uses in the game where, you know, I guess it would be a lot easier to Mr. Sandman somebody than try to silently kill him or whatever. And I think it's you know, it's an RP perk. It's not dog shit, but it has some function, so I'm gonna have to throw it at D. No reason to waste any time on this. Mysterious Stranger is just the exact same as Misfortune. They have a chance to randomly appear on the nearest Rad Roach you're aiming at, and that's about it. We're throwing that bitch in C. Nerd Rage. You need to be level 10, have 5 intelligence, and 50 science. You get plus 15 damage threshold, and strength is raised up to 10 if your HP drops below 20%. Probably C tier. It has more function than like Fortune Finder or Scrounger or Mr. Sandman, but it's just so hyper specific and niche that in the right builds, it's probably really great, but you're just never going to run it. So I'd say it's a C tier perk. Night Person, level 10. It gives you plus 2 intelligence and plus 2 perception up to a maximum of 10 when the sun is down. Having an extra 2 intelligence points and 2 perception point is just completely negated by eating a Mentats or having Eddie as a follower. It really is just completely useless. It's a dog shit perk. Again, welcome to the trash can, you completely utterly useless perk. Okay, Plasma Spaz. You need 70 energy weapons and you have to be level 10. AP cost for all plasma weapons are reduced by 20%. Yeah, it's good at what it does. You know, for the V.A.T.S crit builds, it is definitely a good, useful perk. But I think it's probably just on the same category as like Math Wrath. I'd say it's about an A tier perk. Fast Metabolism. You need to be level 12. And you get a 20% health bonus when using stim packs. When you're playing on harder difficulties and you're a lower level, this perk can be very, very useful. But once you get to like Endgame and you have good gear and good perks and a solid build, it kind of falls off. But because it does boost a healing source, it definitely has to rate pretty high because it does affect your character in a decent way. I would say I'd have to throw it in the A tier. At Ghastly Scavenger, you have to have the Cannibal perk and be level 12. So once you waste a perk on Cannibal, you can go ahead and waste another perk on Ghastly Scavenger. And you get to gain health by feeding on feral ghouls and super mutants. Actually, it's even worse than Cannibal because you have to have Cannibal to use it. D tier. We got Hit the Deck. I am actually using this perk in a recent build on my channel where I use landmines only. And I think in that very hyper-specific situation where you're literally throwing a landmine 2 feet in front of you, this perk is basically useless. At level 12 and 70 explosives, you gain 25 DT against explosives. So again, this is very kind of hyper specific, unless you just really hate getting shot by like the red glare or getting dynamite chucked at you by powder gangers. This is just not a great perk. There are much better perks we could be getting. And 9 times out of 10, I'm killing the guy that's damaging me with explosives anyway. Let's just avoid Hit the Deck unless you're using a hyper specific build like a landmine build. By the way, check it out when that drops, like me. It probably serves a similar sort of relevancy function as like Lady Killer or Strong Back. It's just one of those perks that's kind of an additive to an already good build. It's not individually great. So I would say it's B tier. Life Giver. You need to be level 12 and have 6 endurance, and this gives you a plus 30 HP. Let's just use our perk points on perks like Toughness, Solar Powered, something like that that's going to give us that extra health boost. This is kind of just a waste of a perk in my opinion. Yes, it serves a function, but it's not the best perk. I would have to say, because I don't have to spend 5 seconds eating a ghoul, it is definitely not D tier, so we'll throw it in the C tier. Useful perk, 30 extra points of health. Yeah, you know, I guess if you're going for the world's tankiest build, this perk is it. Put that perk into something like an extra stack of toughness and get a much more beneficial reward. Long haul. You need to be level 12, have 6 endurance, and 70 barter. And you get to fast travel even if you're over encumbered. Clearing out a camp of fiends. Let's say you're going to go wipe out the Legion and you want to loot absolutely everything they have and then fast travel back home and dump it in the chest or sell it. For that specific reason, it's pretty nice. But again, you can just stash something in a, stash everything in a box and fast travel to and fro. It's still, a pretty convenience perk, I would say. It's a convenience perk. I would have to say it is a C tier perk. Next up, we got Piercing Strike. You need to be level 12 and have an unarmed skill of 70. Again, if you are an unarmed build, and I know some unarmed weapons are insanely good, like Pushy or a Ballistic Fist or whatever like that, Saturnite Fist, you're ignoring 15 points of the target's damage threshold. This perk for an unarmed build is absolutely crucial. You have to have it if that's your build. It's insanely good at what it does. And because of that reason, this perk is literally a singularity for unarmed builds. I have to throw it in the GOAT list. It is so vital. Pyromaniac. Level 12, 60 explosives. You get plus 50% damage with fire-based weapons. So if you're using weapons like the Flamer, the Shish Kebab, fire bombs, obviously flame-based weapons, you're doing 50% more damage. I would say it's definitely not a waste of a perk by any means. but I would probably put it in the same category as these others here, S tier. Actually, no, I'm going to change it to A tier just because the flamer is such a bad weapon. Of course, if you get like the unique version, Cleansing Flame, and you pair it with that, this is probably going to be a pretty good perk, but it's just so specific on like one weapon that it's not really useful. I would say A tier. Next up, we got Robotics Expert. You have to be level 12 and have a science skill of 50. You get plus 25% damage to robots and the ability to sneak up behind them and hit the pickpocket button, and you can shut them down. Robotics Expert is so good, especially if you're going to Old World Blues on a harder difficulty, or you decide to just air out the strip and all the Robo Securitrons. It is a great perk. Robots are probably one of the most common enemies in Fallout. So with that being said, I think I have to throw this in the S tier. It is just such a useful perk. Silent Running. You have to be level 12, have 6 agility, and 50 sneak. You can run basically without the penalties of it. It's a pretty damn good perk for what it does. But then again, you can always just crouch with the high sneak skill. So because of its convenience, I'm going to throw it in the B tier. Sniper. Level 12, 6 perception, 6 agility. You have an increased chance to hit opponents in the head. Again, when this perk is stacked right, with the right V.A.T.S crit build, it's really good, man. It just is. Most of the time, you're going to want to be doming kids anyway. So I would actually go as far as saying I would put Sniper above perks like Center Mass or Hobbler. It's a great perk. It really just is. I'm going to throw it in A tier. It's great for what it does. It's a very good additive perk. But by itself, it's not doing anything particularly crazy. Next up, we got Splash Damage. You need to be level 12 and have a 70 explosive skill. Explosives have a 25% larger area of effect. So essentially, a fat man is going to be exploding in a radius 25% larger. I would say because it is a build additive, I would definitely probably, again, put it on the same category as like Pyromaniac, things to that nature. I think it's a great additive to any explosives build. We're going to throw it in the A tier. Unstoppable Force. Level 12, you have to have 7 strength and 90 melee weapons. You do additional damage through enemy blocks with melee and unarmed attacks. If you've ever played this game as a melee-focused player, you understand it's hella annoying to get parried or blocked. So this perk is just as the name insinuates, you are an unstoppable force. You get the right melee weapon and you are just crunching kids. Crazy perk. And again, like I talk about perk additives a lot, if you pair this with like Super Slam, Piercing Strike, you're just an unstoppable force of nature. You're literally the Doomslayer. It's a great perk. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw it in S because of just how useful it is. People don't seem to realize when you're fighting pretty much any melee-focused NPC, you're getting blocked half the time. So it is a very useful perk. S tier. I want to say for the longest time, Adamantium Skeleton was my favorite perk, but I'm still really confused with this perk. I don't think it actually prevents 50% of damage to your limbs. I think it just reduces limb damage from crippling by 50%, which is unfortunate. For the longest time, I swore this perk just like reduced overall damage by 50%. It is still a really nice perk because I fucking hate having my head crippled. I hate getting crippled in general. It's a great perk. But of course, I just recently, I think, learned that this doesn't actually do what I thought it did. This is basically just 50% reduced cripple damage, if you could say. Not all incoming damage is reduced by 50% because it's hitting a limb. Rather, your limb is only taking half the cripple damage it usually would, I think, is what this perk does. For what it does, I think it is still great. If you actually do take 50% reduced damage, which I'm fairly positive you don't. So I think I have to put it in B tier. It's a very convenient perk to have, but it doesn't really do anything super beneficial like I thought it did. Wow, you learn something new every day. I've been playing this game for 14 years, and I just thought about that. Wow, B tier. Next up, we got Center of Mass, level 14, 70 guns. In V.A.T.S, you do an additional 15% damage when targeting the torso. Here's why this perk is exceptionally good for V.A.T.S crit builds. Like I say, one of the better builds in the game is a V.A.T.S crit build. The torso is the easiest target on a person's body to hit, regardless of range. It's usually the highest percentage to hit. And you're doing 15% more damage. Pair this with V.A.T.S crit perks, and the Ranger Sequoia, a little bit of Psycho, and you're pretty much one-shotting anything in the game. So, of course, I think I'm going to have to put Center of Mass S tier. It's only fair. We got Chemist. This increases your skill mags, all consumables like Psycho and Med-X, and Stealth Boys and stuff like that. You get basically double the duration of a Psycho and a Med-X. And of course, if you got ball knowledge, you know Psycho and Med-X is pretty much used in any gunfight or any fight you're getting into for that matter. You need to be level 14 and have 60 medicine. This is a great perk. Chemist is giving you that extra benefit for being in a fight and not having to open your Pip-Boy every 40 seconds. So actually, now that I'm saying it, I would say it's more of a, now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably more of a convenience perk than anything. It's a great perk when paired well with others. So I think actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to throw it in the B tier. Next up, we got Jury Rigging. Level 14, 90 repair. This is the one exception, okay, to my biased rule set of if it don't affect your health, damage mitigation, or damage output. This perk saves you so much money on repairs, it's unbelievable. You know, you go through a gun, you have certain traits like built to destroy, whatever. Your guns are breaking constantly. All you got to do, let's say you're using, I don't know, the Ranger Sequoia. You pick up any one-handed firearm and you can repair it with it. Jury rigging is so useful. So useful. It saves you a ton of money, a ton of time. You just repair it on the road, shoot somebody, pick their shit up, and repair your shit. Alrighty, I think because of jury rigging and what it does and how convenient it is, yes, it's a convenience perk, but it is so convenient. It's a singularity, brother. It's a GOAT. I'm picking up jury rigging literally every playthrough. I don't care. It's a GOAT perk. Next up, we got Light Step. You have to be level 14. You have to have 6 agility and 6 perception. You will never set off any floor traps, mines, or anything to that degree. You can just basically ignore traps altogether. This is a convenience perk. It's extremely convenient when you're like me and your feet are magnets for bear traps, especially in Dead Money. I fucking hate bear traps. If you follow my channel, you know that. I have a personal vendetta against bear traps. It's almost a running joke. Just about every playthrough I step in a bear trap to this day. I don't care how many years I've played this game. I'm always running into a bear trap. I hate it. So we're throwing her in the B tier. Next up, Purifier. Level 14 requirement. You do an additional 50% damage with melee and unarmed weapons against centaurs, night stalkers, spore plants, spore carriers, death claws, pretty much anything that's not human. This perk for melee builds is so vital, especially when you pair this with like Super Slam, Piercing Strike, that sort of thing. Oh my god. You can just run through Quarry Junction like you own the place. It's a great perk. Because it's so vital for a melee build, I have to again go S tier. It's a great perk. Action Boy and Action Girl. Whether you're male or female, it's just the counter perk. Level 16, 6 agility, and this has 2 ranks. It at first gives you 15 more action points, and the second rank gives you 30 action points. I don't necessarily think this is the worst perk ever, but when you have perks that already reduce the cost of action points, I would much rather choose those over just a raw increase. But in the, like I keep saying, I'm going to say it, I'm going to wear it out like a broken record. V.A.T.S crit builds. Oh my god. You pair this with any V.A.T.S crit build, it's extremely useful. The more action points you have, the more V.A.T.S you can use. It's insanely good. I would like to say it is an A tier perk. Okay, all hail the GOAT. Better criticals. Level 16. 6 perception, 6 luck. If you got ball knowledge, I don't even have to say anything. Okay? You're doing 50% more damage with critical hits. I don't even have to say V.A.T.S crit build. Just in general, grab this perk and you're doing better. Like it's insane. It's probably the best perk in the game. Absolute hard carry perk. This perk is goated. Chem resistant. Level 16, you need 60 medicine. You have a 50% less addiction chance. I'm going to be honest. I don't think I have ever really given a fuck if I became addicted to something or not. You can just buy Fixer and completely negate this perk. You can also get Logan's Loophole and just never, ever need this perk. It's kind of a wasted perk slot. And when I say kind of, I mean it's a fucking retarded perk to pick. It is nice if you don't have Logan's Loophole or you don't, I guess, have a lot of Fixer or whatever it may be, and you just hate losing some, and you hate dealing with the addiction side effects. But I've never really given a fuck, let's be honest. All right, so Chem Resistant, it's just not a great perk, man. I'm throwing it in the D tier. It's just not great. There's so many different options. Like I said, if you just hate being addicted, just reload a save. Like, let's be honest. Eat a Fixer, get Logan's Loophole. The negative side effects of being addicted aren't really that negative anyway. I don't think I've ever given a shit if I became addicted. I usually just laugh at my screen because it says you are now addicted. So it doesn't really matter. Meltdown, again, if you have elite ball knowledge, you know this perk already. Level 16, you need 90 energy weapons. Basically what this does, anybody you kill with an energy weapon will like explode into a chain reaction of plasma or laser like goo, basically. So let's say you got a pack of, I don't know, you've got a legionary hunting party after you. You kill one of them and they're close together. He's going to explode and fuck his boy up on the explosion damage. So this perk for energy builds is so insanely goated. It's you have to get this perk if you're rocking energy weapons in New Vegas. Usually I would say I would put this perk in the S tier, but because it's so insanely good for energy builds, I'm actually going to say this is a goated perk. Tag, let's talk about it. Level 16. You basically get to pick a 4th tag skill like in the beginning of the game. You get to get 15 extra points to any skill. It's just a waste of a fucking perk. Like, just read a magazine, homie. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's a waste of a perk. Everybody knows I hate this damn perk. It's just completely and utterly useless. There are so many better perks we could be getting other than tag. Yeah, we're going to take a look here at what you're doing when you're picking tag or like here and now, for example. You're basically taking that perk point because you only get 25 of them. You're taking that perk point and you're throwing it in the dumpster. You're getting 15 skill points. Okay. Read a magazine. If you build your build right, you get 100 of every skill anyway. It is just a waste of a perk. Garbage. Next up is weapon handling. You need just under 10 strength and you have to be level 16. This perk is so dog shit. I really can't lie to you. Most people have a high strength stat if they're going to go big weapons anyway. So it just like reducing the weapon strength requirements by 2. Like, okay, like it's a horseshit perk. It really is. I'm sorry. It's terrible. If you pick weapon handling, you probably have no idea what you're doing. I award you 0 points and may God have mercy on your soul. It's dog shit. Next up is computer whiz. Got to be level 18, have 7 intelligence and 70 science. A pretty steep requirement for a dog shit perk. Let's explain why. Basically, you get an additional attempt on unlocking a terminal that you were locked out of. Let me explain why this is dog shit. For one, do we not have an F9 button on our keyboard? For one, do we not attempt to hack a terminal 3 times, back out, and then do it again? For one, do we not pay attention? Do we still not know how to solve a terminal in the Big 2.5? This perk is dog shit, gang. It's terrible. There's no other option. Just press F9, learn how to hack a terminal, stop fucking hacking it 4 times. It's a waste of a perk. Throw it in the dumpster. It's ass, bro. I'm sorry. If you pick this perk, I'm so sorry. Next up, we got concentrated fire. Level 18, 60 energy weapons, 60 guns. You have a 5% increased hit chance for subsequent hit in V.A.T.S. So if you're like me and you pretty much one-shot everything on a V.A.T.S crit build anyway, this perk's kind of ass. Like, okay, so let's say you have a 60% chance to hit their head, and you hit their head, the next shot you'll have a 70%. It's a waste of a perk. It's not very good. Unless you're using like an insanely high fire rate weapon, it might be pretty good, but it's a convenience perk and not a particularly good one. It does have some function. It's definitely not on the computer whiz level of retarded, so we're gonna throw it in D. Infiltrator. Next up, we got Paralyzing Palm, level 18, a 70 unarmed skill. This gives you a 30% chance to perform a special V.A.T.S palm strike that paralyzes your opponent for 30 seconds when unarmed. Be cautious, because I figured this out on a certain melee build I was doing for my channel. If you pair Paralyzing Palm with Super Slam, and they happen to trigger the Paralyzing Palm in V.A.T.S, and you trigger a Super Slam, your game will break. They will explode into a Play-Doh mess. Never pair Paralyzing Palm with Super Slam. You're going to break your game, trust me. But anyway, Paralyzing Palm by itself is so damn good. It is so good. So it is a great perk, but again, you're completely unarmed. So it's like, do you really like use this perk? Are you really going to use it? I don't know. I'll put it in the A tier just for what it does. Next up, we have the Explorer perk. You have to be level 20, and it just reveals every location on the map. I see why people pick it, because it is pretty convenient for those explorers out there, but it's just not the best perk. And for that reason, I think I kind of got to put it in the C tier, kind of on the same category as like Long Haul or Travel Light. It does give a pretty nice convenience, but it's nothing major. Next up, we got Grim Reaper's Sprint, level 20 perk. You restore 20 AP when killing an enemy in V.A.T.S. Obviously, if you don't use V.A.T.S, it's a waste of a perk, but if you do, it's extremely good at what it's used for. If you're popping in and out of V.A.T.S on a dime, killing shit non-stop, Grim Reaper Sprint is absolutely one of the better perks in the game for that. But again, I don't think it's necessarily a GOAT perk, but I have to throw it in the S tier for what it does. Ninja, level 20, 80 sneak, 80 melee. You have a plus 15% crit chance with melee weapons or unarmed attacks. Your sneak attacks do 25% more damage. Oh my god, pair this with better criticals, finesse, and a luck build, and motherfucker. I would say it's on the S tier level. Very good perk. Solar powered, level 20, 7 endurance. You get plus 2 strength and you restore health while you're outdoors during the day. When you pair solar powered with Rad Child and the health implant, and you're wearing one of those fucking Old World Blues health halos, whatever they are, you're literally regenerating all your health in a second. Like, it's insane. You just don't need stim packs. It's a insanely good perk. Insanely good. And I want to put it in the GOAT list just out of bias, but of course, it's just not as good as like Rad Child or Better Crits. It's just not. But it is still insanely good. Next up, we got Laser Commander, level 22, 90 energy weapons. You get plus 15% damage and 10% chance to critically hit with any laser weapon. Again, it is very focused on one particular type of weapon. So I would say it's an A tier perk, similar to that of something like Pyrotechnics. Again, I want to rephrase, the reason why Cowboy and Shotgun Surgeon are in the GOAT tier is because they're so good at what they do on some of the best weapons in the entire game that it's just non-negotiable. They're insanely beneficial. But Laser Commander, again, if you're a laser user, you like laser weapons, you have to get this perk. You just have to. Nuka Chemist, you need to be level 22 with a 90 science skill, and it just unlocks all the different like Nuka grenades and Nuka mines or whatever at the workbench, which again is always nice to have because it's the only way to get it in the game. So if you don't get this perk, you can't make those, but it is hyper specific. Unless you really want to use like Nuka grenades or whatever, I would not recommend getting it. I'd probably definitely put it above something like Explorer because you are actually benefiting and gaining something from it. Yeah, it's definitely a little more than a convenience perk. I would say it's a B tier perk. Next up, we got Spray and Pray. You have to be level 22 for whatever reason to get this perk, and it reduces the damage you do to your companions by 75%. You'll notice a trend here. Pretty much any companion perk is horseshit, so we're going to put it where it belongs in the horseshit category. We got Slayer, level 24. You need 7 agility and 90 unarmed. This perk increases the speed of all melee and unarmed attacks by 30%. Let me tell you why this is insane. Essentially, you're increasing your DPS by 30%. The reason for that being, if you're using something like Oh Baby, a massive super sledge, which it does swing pretty slow, and you have a melee build, and you're now lobbing that motherfucker 30% faster. It's an insane perk. For any melee build, you have to have Slayer. You just have to. Goated Singularity perk. Absolutely hard carry for any melee build. It's just so vital. Goated. Nerves of Steel, level 26, 7 agility. This perk increases the regeneration of your action points. So again, pretty much any V.A.T.S build is going to benefit from this perk. And I would say it's probably better to have a faster AP regeneration than raw AP. So if I put Action Boy in the A tier, I'm going to have to put Nerves of Steel in the A tier as well. We have Rad Absorption, level 28 for some reason, 7 endurance. This perk slowly takes away your Rad Child. I don't know why you would ever run this shit. It literally reduces your radiation level. No, sir, we need Rad Child. We don't want to lose radiation. We want radiation, okay? Radiation, again, I guess if you don't run Rad Child, obviously you're not going to have a problem with this perk. It's not the worst perk ever because you save a little bit of money on like Rad Away and shit. But like it's really not great. Like it's just countering my favorite perk in the game. So for that exact reason, I'm going to throw my boy Rad Absorption in the D tier. And just like that, I think we have a pretty damn good list if I do say so myself. If you disagree with this, obviously you're just wrong because my opinion is better than yours. And I think this is my overall base game perk list. I think it's a pretty good list. Obviously, if you disagree with me, you have no ball knowledge. You don't know shit about New Vegas, and my opinion is better than yours. But no, all jokes aside, I appreciate you guys sticking around watching the video. I'm going to do another perk video on all the challenge perks, companion perks, and DLC perks. So if you didn't see it in this video, it's probably because it's going to be in that one. So again, I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments if you disagree so I can go ahead and tell you that you're wrong. Anyway, y'all take care. We'll see you in the next one.